Hello, everyone. Oh, just a second, I open my presentation. Yeah, hello, everyone, once again. So it's my honor to be here today with all of you. So I was kindly asked by National Bank of Moldova to discuss European countries' best practices in strengthening the financial and banking sector. So I believe that stable, resilient, and well-functioning financial market are the goals of supervisor or the central bank. And I would focus today in my presentation actually on the goals of the supervisor and the central bank, which are essential to achieve these goals of a stable, resilient, and well-functioning financial market. Yeah. So the mission of the supervisor, I believe, is to create benefits to society by aiming for reliable financial system and sustainable economic development. So the mission is not banks or financial sector as such, but at the end of the day is reliable financial system which should benefit to the society. So in executing its mission, the supervisor should seek, or the supervisory goals could be the following. So to maintaining and strengthening stability, reliability, competitiveness, and efficiency of financial market. Financial market which serves for national economy and welfare of society. So again, I would like to stress so that at the end, I mentioned serving national economy and welfare of society. So the supervisor or the central bank should serve at the end of the day the national economy and welfare of society. So supervisory goals can be quite wide. So at the core, in the yellow part, you can see that it's safety and soundness of the financial system. But there are some surveillance and oversight goals of the supervisor, like financial stability, crisis management, ML, risks management, resolution, and consumer protection. So these could be treated as tier one goals of the supervisor. And also supervisor, the central bank can have promotional or secondary objectives like financial sector development, financial literacy, financial inclusion, competition, efficiency. Central bank or the supervisor could facilitate fintech and innovation, and supervisor or the central bank could act as a financial center. And as you can see from at the bottom of the picture, so all this serves the public interest of the society. What are the preconditions for effective supervision? So I highlighted six of them. So it's clear objectives, because sometimes supervisors or the central bank have very different objectives or expectations from the public or politicians, and sometimes it's confusing which objectives are the main ones. So it's very important to have clear objectives of the supervisor and the central bank. Secondly, it's independence and accountability, which was mentioned many times today. So I will talk on that a little bit later. So supervisor should have adequate resources to carry its tasks effectively. Fourth, supervisors should have effective enforcement powers so that financial market participants that breach laws or regulations, they are punished. And also, if needed, there is a well-functioning criminal investigation or administrative investigation authorities and processes, so that financial market participants and their managers who just break the laws, so they are punished accordingly. Without that, it's quite hard to expect a well-functioning financial market. Going next, so it's comprehensive regulation, which is inevitable. So the it should ensure that there is no scope for any regulatory gaps and all financial entities must be brought under supervision with single level playing field of regulation. As for example, in Moldova, we have banks, non-bank credit organizations, saving and credit organizations, and they are regulated by different authorities now, and sometimes it feels that they have a different level of regulation. And of course, regulation should be cost efficient because regulation is always a cost to market participants. What are the challenges faced by supervisors to achieve the before mentioned goals? So according to Stefan Ingves, the governor of the Swedish Central Bank, and his colleagues, so the major challenges faced by the supervisors are weak legal frameworks, lack of independence from political system, too many and often contradictory objectives, ineffective internal processes, insufficient transparency, or lack of statistics. On the right-hand side, you can see a chart actually taken by the IMF papers, which shows the major weaknesses in institutional framework of supervisors. And as you can see, the greatest risk or the greatest weakness is related to independence, both in advanced economies, the yellow chart, and in emerging markets and developing economies, so the red chart. As you can see, so resources, mandate, powers, and legal protection, which are directly or indirectly related to independence, also pose key risks or weaknesses to the supervisors and central banks. And the last is accountability, which was also mentioned by other participants today. I would like to talk a little bit about the independence of central banks, which was mentioned a lot today. So the slide is very similar to the one we saw earlier today. So independence of central banks has like 4 aspects. It's institutional, functional, personal, and financial. And all 4 of them are important. Institutional aspect of independence means that central banks and their members of decision-making bodies are free from seeking or taking instructions or influence from institutions or bodies, government, or from anyone other when they carry their functions or duties. So it's quite important. Functional aspect of independence, so it's the autonomy of the central bank to determine which policy tools to use to achieve the primary objective. Personal aspect of independence means safeguarding the capacity of the members of the central bank and decision-making bodies to take decisions without external influence, which is related to appointment to and removal from the office, which is also very important in case of Moldova. And finally, the financial aspect of independence, meaning that central bank or supervisor is free to manage its own financial resources and ensure that it has sufficient capital, staff, and income to perform its tasks independently. I would conclude here by just a few single statements, so that institutional, functional, personal, and financial independence of supervisor or central bank is key to stable, reliable, competitive, and efficient financial market which serves for national economy and welfare of society. I strongly believe that when these challenges discussed today are overcome, supervisor would decide rather easy how to strengthen the financial sector. Thank you very much for your attention.